Quick review. Should you see Maleficent, Mistress of Evil in 3D? The cinematography is great. There are a lot of good aerial shots. Top-down views of the land from the sky look great. You can see various environments from forests to bodies of water and a kingdom's landscape. The architecture of castles look good. Big open cave scenes look good as well. The cinematography was enhanced by the 3D effects because the optimization was realistic. The depth perception is natural, not layered. Visual elements occupy their space convincingly. At the beginning of the movie, characters were shown moving across a body of water. The 3D did a good job of displaying the visual density of the water floating by. I felt like I was right on the surface of the water. There are a lot of visual elements to see in this movie. Besides static elements such as trees and flowers, there is a high volume of mobile visual elements. Almost every sequence had some type of visual constantly moving. This made many scenes a bit overwhelming to see, but they were not annoying. There were many dark scenes in this movie. The 3D really did not factor in enhancing those scenes since the important visuals were made distinguishable by the use of some form of light and constant movement. Visual elements were placed properly on the three-dimensional stage. Most of the large elements are in the background. The main characters are normal-sized and mostly placed in the center of the three-dimensional stage. There are smaller visual elements such as fairies, butterflies, and leaves placed all throughout the 3D stage. Large quantities of smaller elements move in the background, very few amounts near the middle, and fewer near the front. Some larger-scaled elements, such as a person's head, are placed near the front of the stage, but they are off to the side, not in the middle. They do not block the viewing of the main elements in the center of the stage and screen. Also, the screen time of larger-scaled images does not last long, so their presence is not annoying. There was only one instance when one larger-scaled element made me want to move it out of the way. The placement of elements did a good job of displaying the density and spacing of certain objects. Simple things like a castle ledge in the foreground shown at the bottom of the screen gives a good sense of how high it was from the ground. Seeing characters move between columns gave the sense of grandeur of the castle. Branches magically sprout up from the ground, grow toward the center of the screen, and gradually forward across the stage. The placement of multiple elements is what makes some scenes immersive. Scenes that take place in the land of the fairies contain a lot of plants. Many branches and leaves are in the back and foreground of the 3D stage where they need to be to give a sense that you are in the middle of a forest. The immersion was more static than dynamic since most of the small mobile visual elements did not move to different areas across the three-dimensional stage. There were a few moments of engagement that happened at appropriate times. Particles, ash, and dust moved toward the audience. There were fewer moments when I moved in my seat. However, moments of engagement and immersion were undermined by the way scenes were edited. Scenes are cut short or the camera's point of view changes, limiting the duration of engagement. These changes within a sequence do not give you a satisfactory amount of time to appreciate the 3D experience in a scene. I didn't feel like I was in the moment of immersion at any point in the movie due to the way the scenes were edited. In most of the action sequences, the camera view does not stay still while characters are moving in a scene. Sometimes when the camera view moves to the side, characters move with the camera view, and sometimes characters move diagonally across the stage. This causes a little bit of eye strain. Many scenes seem to be a bit visually overwhelming. I experienced some fatigue due to viewing so many visuals moving during certain scenes. Despite that, the majority of this movie was comfortable to experience in 3D. There is one scene when Maleficent was flying. As she spins in the air, the camera view rotates with her. This did not cause me to experience any disorientation. Large-scale images in the front of the three-dimensional stage were not overbearing due to their short screen time. There were no shaky camera shots to cause any motion sickness. There were no instances of strobing. As the movie went on, I seemed to adapt to the optimization of the 3D. There was so much stuff flying around, I got used to it. Although this movie takes place in a fantasy setting, seeing small visuals flying around throughout most of the movie became normalized. A positive way to look at it is the 3D experience made it seem more natural, normal, or realistic, even though what you are seeing and what is going on is not realistic. In a bad way, you can say you get over it watching all of those elements move around. It did not seem as special when I got used to it. Maleficent, the Mistress of Evil, is a basic story about two sides having a conflict, they go to war, and then the conflict ends. I don't think Maleficent herself lives up to the title of Mistress of Evil in this movie. If you're not into 3D movies, you can wait to see it at home. If you do decide to see it on the big screen, then see it in 3D because it enhances and complements the cinematography. It is visually overwhelming in the beginning, the story is slow in the middle, but picks up the pace toward the end of the movie with action sequences not as visually overwhelming as in the beginning. Although this experience does not give you much time to appreciate engaging or immersive moments, the main reason to experience this movie in 3D is for the optimization, spacing, and placement of visual elements. If you see Maleficent, the Mistress of Evil on the big screen, see it in 3D because the experience is greater than the story.